a man waiting to be a father, a man waiting to be a lover, a man who is persistent, a man who is resilient, a man who is loyal, a man who thinks, a man who is determined, a man who is honest, a man who is serious, a man who is trusting, a man who listens, a man who is brave, a man who is a cancer, a man who wears a cross, a man with a tattoo, a man who likes ham and pineapple pizza, a man with feet made to run, a man who has sinned, a man who has learned valuable lessons, a man who was once stuck in the unconscious, a man who is grateful for everyone that has visited his life, a man who has experimented, a man who once wore his heart on his sleeve, a man who had fallen, a man who has got back up, a man who experiences impulsions, a man who has occasional doubts, a man with primal instincts and urges, a man who wonders what is beyond earth, a man who occasionally cries to music, a man who at times yearns for romance, a man who is grateful for every woman who has helped him become the man he is today, a man who at times forgets to be thankful just for waking up, a man who can get overwhelmed using social media, a man who tries to be kind, a man who knows he is attractive, a man who checks in to stay humble, a man who does not forget his worth, a man who embraces his being goofy, a man who is nurturing, a man who nurtures, a man who always stays optimistic, a man who always aims to be respectful, a man who is sensitive, a man who stays courteous, a man who resents comfort, a man who prays, a man who meditates, a man who is creative, a man who believes in God, a man who believes in the devil, a man who believes in the second coming, a man who believes in heaven, a man who is a spiritual being living a human experience, a man with a dream, a man who believes, a man who seeks wisdom, a man who seeks discipline, a man who embraces his shadow, a man who strives to be stoic, a man who makes his bed as soon as he wakes up, a man mindful of his temptations, a man mindful of an addictive personality, a man with many lessons ahead, a man who acknowledges his right to the metaphorical throne, a man who knows what his purpose is, a man who experiments, a man challenging his narcissism, a man who seeks uncomfortable situations, a man who works to be physically strong, a man who works to be mentally strong, a man who's working hard to keep working hard, a man who is enthusiastic about life, a man who is destined for greatness.